Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of the Coming of the Horde Warcraft 3 custom map replay. I'm Synegg. If you joined us in the last part, the Horde has just destroyed the blue city of Stormwind and the green city of Silvermoon. And this is about 47 minutes left on the replay timer, where the Alliance has 6 thrones remaining. The yellow player, his forces have now returned to the red faction Stromgarde outside the great city with its double gates, and the player has arrayed a large number of forces on the outer walls, and they're shooting down lethal volley fire at the Legion forces as they stream through. Meanwhile, the other Horde players, the 2 Ogre heroes, Dentarg and Chogor, they've come up from below. They've decided to bypass the dwarven mountain city of Ironforge of the faction of Khaz-Modan. And Archimond, who's now level 8, he's just destroyed the shipyard of the red player. And after the destruction of Stormwind, the Horde forces have the ability to create ships, and you can see the brown player has actually made quite a large armada, and it's sailed straight for the southern shores of Kultiras, and it's being met by the teal Kultiras navy. As this ship battle goes underway, both sides are scrambling to reinforce their armies, and a squadron of submarines are coming down to flank. It seems in the opening engagement, the teal player has successfully defended his shores, and the brown fleet is retreating. And as this battle just finishes up, the black fleet of Gilneas has arrived, followed shortly by some reinforcement ships from the grey Lordaeron player, more on the eastern shores. The blue player has a squadron of submarines patrolling the eastern side of the island, and it looks like actually the teal player has decided to go on an offensive, and he's pushed his armada together with black's joint fleet, and they've taken the fight to the brown Horde fleet, with the submarines exacting a heavy toll on the flank of the Horde forces. Meanwhile, the light blue player, his starting shipyards were on the eastern side of the Great Sea, has sailed his massive fleet round through this pass, the 3 bridges of Thandal Span, and the Horde fleet has come down this way to try and intercept the Alliance forces. There's a fierce battle going on at the old Stormwind docks, where the Alliance seems to have prevailed, but little do they know actually the Horde fleet, the massive light blue armada, is going to cut them off. And I'm watching this replay with the Fog of War turned off to make it easier to cast, but actually there's no scouting information available, so the Alliance is not aware that they're about to be backstabbed by a massive Horde fleet. However, they've successfully defeated the dark green shipyard, and it seems the first Kultiras and Gilneas fleet was actually repelled, and the brown player successfully defended his shores. But either way, now there's a massive light blue fleet that's made its way into the Western Sea, and they're picking off Alliance stragglers, and this poor group of navy is about to be surrounded and completely destroyed from all sides. And those poor sailors. Meanwhile, the Horde has taken their now reinforced fleet from the light blue, and they've made a second attempt at assaulting the southern shores of Kultiras. And as this navy ship battle goes underway, it seems the Alliance red city of Stromgarde is now under siege, and there's combined forces from the light blue player, the dark green player, and the Legion player was here, but he may have taken his forces elsewhere. It seems the Burning Legion under Archimonde has decided to retreat downwards, and they're going to target the dwarven orange city of Ironforge. Meanwhile, it seems the Southern Alliance Navy was completely defeated, and the joint forces of brown and light blue have wiped all of their shipyards and navy from the seas, and they're now proceeding to sail upwards towards the Gilneas docks. And there's a small group of Horde ships barricading the Teal Cortira shipyards. And I'm sorry to keep jumping back and forth, but there's a lot of action going on. And now the Ogre army of Cho'Gall is battering down the great gates of Stromgarde. They've made it through the first gate, they're nearly through the second gate, and the Alliance has set up quite a massive concave waiting for them, so this would be a choke point of death if the Horde tried to make it through here. They can prevail in certain situations, but it will definitely cost them dearly to get through this killing zone. Jumping back to the Western Sea battle, the light blue fleet has made it up to contact the black Gilneas forces. Their shipyard is about to fall, the Lordaeron reinforcements are being cut off, and it seems Azeroth has decided to reinforce with his own forces of battleships. It's unclear if that will be enough, as there's a constant stream of Horde reinforcements coming through, and both sides have definitely sunk a lot of gold into this sea war. Now, comparing the statistics of ships, in general, the Horde has stronger units, but Navy is one area where actually the Horde and the Alliance are not that different. So, in terms of cost effectiveness, because the Horde generates a lot more income over time, it's not a bad idea for the Alliance to try and hold off the seas, as it's a reasonably cost-effective battle, as it were. However, it seems the Alliance, their fleets have been completely decimated, with just a few ships left guarding this southern shore of Hillsbrad, where the blue Azeroth faction was forced to retreat after Stormwind was destroyed. However, the Horde fleet has finally made it here, and this could be the last sea units of the Alliance being destroyed now. Jumping back to Stromgarde, you can see all the Alliance heroes have gathered here to make a stand against the invading Orc forces, and you can see Cho'Gall battling against the Dalaran hero of Ronan, the orange dwarven hero Bran with his rifle gunpowder attacks, and the grey Silverhand Paladin hero Uther Lightbringer. Here's the King of Gilneas, again Greymane, and the Elven General Lorthamar, no doubt angry for revenge after losing his home city of Silvermoon. And the combined Alliance heroes have managed to destroy Cho'Gall for a minute, but he'll no doubt resurrect and come back to fight them later. So the Alliance heroes are harassing the Horde camps to good effect, and it's a good time stalling tactic. However, little do they know, actually the Horde has just launched a massive assault. From the top side is the Burning Legion attacking Ironforge, and from the bottom side, Dentarg leading a group of ogres and orcs to assault the bottom bridge path of Khazmodan. And you can see multiple teleport homing beacons coming in. Bran has returned to his city. The blue player of Azeroth has brought in a number of catapults to help gun down the Hordes, and various other heroes. Now that was a massive ultimate you saw from Dentarg, and it's his ultimate that takes a few seconds to channel, but it did quite a lot of damage and cleared out a big hole, but fortunately the Alliance heroes were able to take him out before he could retreat. Now normally you don't want the Horde streaming into your base like this, because in melee, close quarter fighting one-on-one, Horde units are generally stronger than the Alliance units, so if they get in through the choke points, it's usually all over, as they can stream in and quickly overwhelm the squishier Alliance defenders. but Orange is still putting up a brave fight with Arden Lothar and Bran still standing, but they're quickly getting surrounded and cut off by the Horde. Meanwhile, multiple attacks are going on. There's a small attack going on at Stromgarde. Cho'Gall has led some forces up to the mountain pass of Alterac, which is heavily defended, and meanwhile, back on the island, now that the navy has been destroyed, Brown, led by the Death Knight Terran Gorfiend, has landed on Kultiras. He's established a base, and he's streaming in. So